Her laughter didn't drift softly like a harmless giggle. It crashed into the room, wild and sharp, slicing through the air like broken glass. "I always knew you'd burn out," she sneered, swirling the wine in her glass with one hand while her fingers danced over her phone with the other, likely messaging him even as she tore into me. For a moment, the world seemed frozen. 9 years of marriage, bound since high school, building a life from cramped dorm rooms and cheap apartments, to the small business we created together. I worked tirelessly, pulling all-nighters to stabilize our dream, while she curated an image online, collecting followers and fans. We never craved wealth, just enough to live without fearing the next bill. She once called me her anchor, the quiet strength who always carried us forward. But somewhere along the way, that anchor became invisible. The spark between us faded, her attention slowly drifting toward faces and screens that weren't mine. She dressed for eyes that no longer belonged to me, laughed harder at jokes I never heard, and distanced herself inch by inch. Even in bed, she clung to the edge like I was no longer there. Then came the layoff, a corporate shuffle that cut me loose. I didn't scream or fall apart. I came home, vulnerable and raw, hoping for comfort. That was when her mocking laughter first carved into my ribs. 3 weeks later, I stumbled across it. A hotel receipt buried in the kitchen drawer, carelessly shoved among old bills. The name on it wasn't mine, but it was familiar, her business mentor. Lying beside her that night, I stared at the stranger wearing my wife's face, understanding that this betrayal wasn't born the day I lost my job. It had started long before. So I stopped fighting for answers. I let her believe I was spiraling. I let her think I was defeated. But behind her back, long before the layoff, I had been quietly working on something far removed from our small venture. 2 years of developing a complex logistics algorithm for shipping companies, technical, dry, but deeply valuable, before she ever filed for divorce. I sold it. A Fortune 500 company snatched it up for $67 million, locked under airtight non-disclosure agreements. The funds were funneled into a web of shell corporations and proxy accounts I had prepared years in advance. Layers of protection she didn't even know existed. I didn't change a thing outwardly. I still drove my old Civic, still wore my faded jeans. I let her believe I was barely scraping by, consulting for small startups, while she looked at me with smug pity, the kind people wear when they believe they've won. And then came the day she handed me the divorce papers. "We've grown apart," she said, sitting across from me like she was negotiating a business deal. "I need someone with ambition." "You're right," I answered calmly. Her lawyer, sharp in his tailored suit, offered me scraps, the worn-out couch, our credit card debt, and a patronizing smile. No alimony, no assets. She took everything, the house, the luxury SUV, even our dog. I signed it all without flinching. The ink was barely dry when she moved him in, the man in designer clothes, full of hollow talk about crypto and startups, acting like he was some kind of visionary. They paraded their new life online, new house, new man, new beginning. I watched from a distance, silent, patient, but the truth has a way of surfacing. Her name was absent from every company document, every bank account, every patent transfer. What I built was entirely shielded, legally unreachable. 3 months after the divorce, I sent her a simple postcard. "You chose poorly." Not long after, the tech world exploded with the news. Unknown startup sells patent for $67 million. There I was, smiling in the photo, shaking hands with the CEO of Titan Corp., a commemorative plaque in my hand. That night, she called me 6 times, left 3 voicemails, 1 confused, 2 filled with rage. I never answered. Her attorney, desperate, filed a motion to reopen the divorce, accusing me of hiding assets. But my lawyer, brilliant and precise, dismantled every argument in court. At the time of the divorce, Mr. Cole held no assets or income under his name. The sale occurred afterward, through separate entities protected under existing legal frameworks, she stated firmly. The judge agreed. Case dismissed. From the back of the courtroom, I watched my ex-wife deflate, as if she was just realizing how badly she had miscalculated. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. 2 weeks later, I bought the house right next door. Not out of spite, not to mock, simply to exist, always in her view. Every morning, she watches me step into my new car, my suit perfectly tailored, my expression calm. No gloating, no theatrics, just quiet presence. A month later, he left her. Dreams of crypto profits don't pay real bills. Now, I live my life in peace, traveling when I choose, investing carefully, enjoying the calm I forge in the shadows. She laughed once when I stumbled, but I told her before, storms don't send warnings when they're about to tear through everything.